Alrighty, what's up, everyone? Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Today is Friday, November the 28th. Today's basically Black Friday. Overall markets, we do have a half day today. So, as you can see in the markets, we are going to be closing early. It's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we do have a short day here in the markets after a holiday as well. A couple of things to mention, at least coming into today, futures has been halted since last night. So futures markets have been halted for now. The overall indices are still open. So we'll see what kind of shapes up coming into today. I'm not expecting too much, at least for this week. We've had some nice kind of slow grinds towards the upside on lower volume, which is really a bullish sign here for the overall markets. We'll talk about this here in a second. Good morning. What's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Deuce, Victor, Andreas. Good morning, Robert, Cody, KO, Dragon. Good morning, 50, Hector, Hartik, Sinna. Vade, Zoe, what's up on Andre, Patrick, Sam. Yeah, what's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. One thing to also mention before we get started here as well, we are going to have our key levels basically live stream that is going to be on Sunday this weekend. So on Sunday, November the 30th, I'll still have some more information for you guys. I should have like a posted time. I guess I didn't think of a time as of yet, but we'll do it sometime in the afternoon on Sunday. We're gonna do our essentially our pre-market prep live stream for the week. And I'm going to show you guys how I draw my key levels, what I look for coming into the week, how I draw my key levels specifically, what to look for, what names I'm looking for, the overall thesis. So that's going to be on Sunday. I've never done this before, so I'll keep you guys updated. I'll keep you guys updated here on this YouTube channel, and then I'll also keep you guys updated on Twitter and Instagram as well. So make sure you're following me on that. Before we get started here on the major indices, if you guys do enjoy these live streams, I appreciate if you guys drop a like. If you guys haven't joined the daily watch list, that of course is in the description below. What's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on that. I should have already had a time, but we'll do it sometime in the afternoon. It's going to be really chill, so you don't have to worry about that. All right. Let's go on to the major indices. I guess I can't go over the ES&NQ as you can see right here. The ES&NQ, the futures are currently closed, or sorry, they're halted due to a data exchange related issue. So we'll see when the futures do open back up, hopefully before market opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we'll see what happens beforehand. Let's just kind of go on to the Qs along with the overall indices coming into today. Today is going to be a tricky day just because, as I mentioned, it is a half day. The futures have been halted. Historically speaking, the day after Thanksgiving usually is a lower volume day, of course, just because it is a half day. So if the markets do want to do anything, it's probably going to be another one of kind of these slow grinds back towards the upside. So for the SPY coming into today, the key levels that we have marked out is going to be this 682. So basically, this is the game plan coming into really every single day of this week. It's just been the reaction that we have off of your previous day highs. So what we have coming into today, we're going to mark out this 682, which is going to be a key level. Other levels, I'm actually going to readjust this key level here now as well, down in towards this, which is going to be this 798. So coming into today for the SPY, I'm going to have two levels I'm going to keep an eye out on, right? Your 682 previous day highs, and then a pivot level from Wednesday, which is going to be your 679. So what I like to see is the reclaim back above your previous day highs for a potential continuation, or we're going to be looking for the pullback long off for 679 for this continuation back towards upside. So two scenarios here for the SPY coming into market open. For upside, if you want to see downside, really downside has been very hard this week, right? Just because the markets have been rising on lower volume. We've been bouncing off key levels of support. Specifically, the ES has been leading the market higher. Qs has been lagging behind just a little bit, but overall markets have been bullish. So it's been very hard to short this week. The only shorts I see are just like very miniature scalps. I personally don't like shorting unless we're underneath your previous day lows, which we have been very strong this week, and we haven't even came close to the previous day low level. So really shorts are for me are off the table. Really this week I've been 70% bullish, 30% bearish. And you can see really at the start of the day, sorry, at the start of the week on Monday, we've just been going up. So every single day, markets have been just rising. So these are the key levels we have for the SPY coming into market open. As for the QQQ, similar thesis here. You can see the Qs is actually a little bit stronger here in the pre-market, but we're about to gravitate back up and towards essentially the area that we broke down from. So this is the original area, which is your 619. You can see this is where we had the multiple touches. This is where we broke down from. This was from Thursday, November the 13th. Now you can see the QQQ, we're about to gravitate up and towards this key level. So coming into today, what we're going to have marked out, 616 previous day highs. We're going to have this level marked out. If we want to maintain upside, maintain above your 616 for this continuation up and towards your higher time frame objective, which is your 618.50. So that's going to be the key level here for Qs coming into today. Another possible scenario, if it dips all the way back down in towards that 614, potential reclaim back above your 616 is in play for pushback towards the upside. The only potential shorts I do see is maybe a rejection off this 618 for a pushback down in towards your previous day highs. Only scenario I see for some downside, pop and fade off that 618. So these are the levels that we have for SPY and Qs coming into today. As for the other names that we do have here as well, let's just go on to some of the tech names that we have coming into today here for a Friday. I'm gonna grab some water here. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over, you guys can drop them in the chat. We do have some news here as well. So the futures are about to open back up at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's when the futures are going to open back up now. So in about 20 or 15 minutes here, the futures are about to open back up. All right, let's go on to some tech names here, and then we'll go on to some other names here as well. Internet kind of disconnected. All right, we should be back up. I think my internet cut out for a second, but I mentioned that for this weekend, my YouTube video is going to be coming out on Sunday. I'm going to talk about my key levels and how I mark out my key levels, and also on Sunday as well, I'm also going to have a live stream. So the first time I'm going to do a live stream mark out key levels. So that's going to be on Sunday in the afternoon. And I'm going to show you guys how I draw my key levels in real time as well. Okay, so for Tesla. So Tesla coming into this week here, as you can see, we already have multiple touches really off this general area, kind of this 420. We're kind of marked at the top of the range here as well, 428. I do like Tesla for eventually a mean reversion, which it does seem like it's showing a little bit more strength here coming into market open. So coming into today here for Tesla, the levels that I have marked out, 428. We also have your 420 marked out. You can see multiple touches earlier into the week. Didn't really do too much. We kind of wanted to see the retest above your 420 here on Wednesday. Ultimately dropped right off the bat, reclaimed later into the session, and we had a nice push towards the upside. Now here for Tesla, price is approaching our 428. So it's approaching our 428, which is our last week's highs. What I'd really like to see now in the pre-market, maintain above your 428 for continuation higher. We're at the very top of the range here for Tesla. We're at a key point of interest here as well. I like to see really buyers step in here off this 428 and push this back up really in towards potentially 435 and above. So this is going to be my number one scenario here for Tesla coming into today. Another possible scenario here is going to be, right, essentially just your hold, right? Hold above your 428. Another possible scenario, come all the way back down in towards that 422 for continuation higher. The only way I'm short Tesla, which, right, I'm 70% bullish on most names compared to 30% bearish. Tesla, it's going to be more intraday bearish if you get back underneath your last week's highs and kind of get back underneath their previous day highs here as well. It kind of rejects off this level. So similar to on Wednesday, if it has a big push within the first 5 minutes towards the downside, then I'd be a little bit more cautious and wait for the potential reclaim. So that's what I have for Tesla coming into today. If we're looking at this on the daily chart here as well, in my opinion, this is a really good setup, right? If we can reclaim back above, you can see nice push higher, consolidation, broke underneath. Now it doesn't seem like price is staying heavy. So once we can reclaim back above this key level with strength, which is key, right? There's a clear target really back up and towards your all-time highs, kind of this like inverse head and shoulders, right? Overall market starting to flip here as well. If Tesla can reclaim, we can see this potential push back up and towards eventually in the near future, 450 and potentially back up and towards your all-time highs. So keep this in mind for Tesla. Coming into today and moving forward, we'll talk about this a little bit more on the weekend, but that's what we have for at least today. Let's take a look at some other names here. Google, this one's kind of flagging here on the hourly chart, so keep an eye on this one today. Nice push higher towards your all-time highs, kind of consolidating here, basing above your 318. What I like to see here now for Google is really consolidation, right? Flag pattern break and continuation back up and towards your all-time highs. So for Google, key levels that I have marked out, let's turn them back on. What we have here is your 320. As you can see, we do have multiple touches. You can draw kind of this downtrend break here as well. So for Google, we have a few scenarios I'll be looking for. Number one, bounce off 320, continuation back towards the upside. Another possible scenario here as well, break above. Now it's going to be this previous day highs for a push up in towards your 330 and above. So two scenarios here for Google. Only way you're a little bit more bearish is going to be right underneath that 318 for that continuation towards the downside. So this is what we have for Google coming into today. So keep an eye out on that 320. As for NVIDIA, this one really lagging behind the overall markets. You can see Qs, solid bounce here. NVIDIA, solid bounce this week here for the Qs. NVIDIA really lagging behind ever since we had earnings, which was last week. So for this ticker, just a lot of consolidation, showing a little bit of weakness. So it's been a tougher long. Longs for NVIDIA are going to be above your 184. So above your 184 is going to be key. Before then, I'd be a little bit more cautious on long positions. Another possible scenario is, of course, that 178 bounce, which I don't like as much. I'd much rather look for longs above 184 just because this one's been lagging behind. So that's going to be the key level for NVIDIA. Shorts for me, really off the table unless Qs show some weakness, then potentially you could be looking for a short. But besides that, I'll be a little bit more cautious. AMD, similar thing, kind of defending this higher time frame gap level that we do have here. You can see buyers trying to step in off this 200 key psych. If you look at this on the weekly time frame, we're trying to have lower wicks being put in, a bullish weekly candle here as well that's trying to close. So for AMD coming into this week, or sorry, coming into today and moving forward, key levels that we're going to have is going to be that 216. You can see multiple touches here. This is also your previous day highs as well. Now we just like to see maintain above your 216 for a potential reversal here on the higher time frames. If you go back onto the 15-minute chart, our key levels, as I mentioned, 216, previous day high retest for a potential move up and towards your 220. Rejection, get underneath, be a little bit more cautious, but keep an eye out on that retest above your 216 here on AMD coming to market open. Let's go on to Apple. So as you can see here for Apple, finally breaking outside this range. Now we're basing above your range high. Let's see if we can get that continuation towards all-time highs. So if you go back onto the 15-minute time frame here, Apple, in my opinion, looks really solid here on the higher time frames. We're essentially basing above your Monday's highs. You can see multiple touches, break above, ranging. Now let's see if we can get that continuation higher. So two scenarios here for Apple. We're going to draw at that 277. We draw at that 280. If you want to see upside, bounce either off that 277 or now it's going to be the break above your 280 for continuation higher. So Two scenarios here for Apple for continuation higher. This one, as I mentioned, we're at all-time highs. You can see a couple upper wicks here on the daily time frame, but we're kind of just basing above. So as I mentioned, we just like to see it maintain above your 277. If you can maintain above that 277, I like to see these daily candles close strong and potentially have continuation higher. All right, we do have room up and towards this key high, which is your 284. So that's going to be the key target for Apple moving forward. Bad earnings, but as you can see now, key levels, right, we're reclaiming back above your 230. Right, at least for this week, we've been fairly bullish here. Other levels we can mark out now are just all the way back up and towards your 650. But Meta's been fairly strong this week. You can see every dip has been bought up, consolidation. Now what we can draw out is really your previous day highs once again, 238. So let's draw this up. We can extend it over down in towards this high from Tuesday. Coming into today here for Meta, break above your previous day highs, hold for a continuation higher. Another possible scenario here, bounce off that 230. And then you're going to be looking for that reclaim back above your previous day highs here as well. So two scenarios here for Meta. This is one of my favorite names as well for continuation higher, just based off the overall Qs. So keep an eye out on your previous day highs on this ticker. As for a few other names here, Amazon, key levels that we have marked out, really this 230, not too much to talk about. A couple of these ones have been just lagging behind. So something like Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, these ones have been beaten down quite a bit compared to the overall Qs, which is fairly close to all-time highs. So for something like Microsoft, key level is just going to be this 495, exact same level as before. For Amazon, we had a couple other key levels. Let's just get rid of this one. It's basically this key pivot high from back here. But for Amazon, key levels that we have marked out 228, which you end up having a nice reclaim earlier in this week. Now we're trying to flip back towards the upside. And then even Netflix, this one's actually staying quite heavy. But for Netflix, the key level is going to be this 109 that it needs to see it reclaim. So coming into today here, as I mentioned, the futures are about to open back up in about 7 minutes here. Key levels for me is just going to be your previous day highs on the Qs. For SPY, similar thing here, previous day highs at 682 is going to be key, so we'll keep a reaction off of that. And then for my main watches coming to today, keep an eye on Tesla, previous day highs 428. And then we'll keep an eye out on AMD, 216, Apple. I do like basing above this 277. And then Meta, I even like as well. Key level is going to be this 238 along with this 232. So my game plan, at least coming into today, I'm going to be a lot more cautious, as I mentioned, because of the market closing at 1 p.m. So if you are trading, right, either futures or if you're trading 0-day contracts, you just have to be a little bit more cautious because contracts, there's going to be less volume today and they're going to move less. They're not going to move as much just because of the half day. So you just have to be cautious. If you are trading, right, make sure you are on this. In my opinion, this is like a half size day. So if you do take any trades, right, make sure you're on half size and right, it's not end all be all, especially coming into the weekend here as well. Okay, I'm gonna grab some water here. If you guys do have any tickers or any charts you'd like me to go over, you guys can now drop them in the chat. Yeah, if you guys do have any tickers or any charts you'd like me to go over, I'll go over some now here for the next probably 5 to 10 minutes. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop a like. If you guys haven't joined the daily watch list, that of course is in the description below. Okay, let me go on to some names here. Palantir, this one really has been one of the major catalysts on why the overall market to kind of drop to begin with. The key level for Palantir is now going to be the area essentially we broke down from, right? 172. So for Palantir, if you go back onto the lower time frames, 172 here is really going to be key, at least for the lower time frames. We end up having this nice retest kind of right off for 165, which was our key level here from Tuesday, also Monday here as well. Nice kind of retest, hold, and now continuation higher. So for Palantir, coming into today, key levels we're going to mark out. Previous day highs, 165. We really now want to see Palantir break above your previous day highs, hold, for this continuation back up and towards this 170. So that's going to be key for Palantir coming into today. As for a few other tickers, AVGO, this one ended up having a super solid push yesterday back up and towards all-time highs. Bullish news catalyst, higher time frame bullish here as well. Key levels that we have for Palantir now. We're going to mark out this 390. We can also now mark out that previous day highs. So for AVGO, you like to see break above previous day highs, continuation towards upside, or now potential kind of pullback longs, 392 for this continuation higher here as well. As for IWM, super solid bounce. So IWM, you can see bouncing really nicely back towards the upside here, kind of leading the markets higher on a bunch of these small caps. But as you can see for the IWM, the key levels that we're going to have marked out now, which is the area that we broke down from, we're already above that. So we're fairly bullish. Really, the next levels on IWM, of course, are back up and towards our all-time highs, 252. Other levels we can have marked out now are just going to be these pivot highs from the areas that we kind of broke down from. So we have our 252, of course, which is your all-time highs. And now other levels we can have marked out here is just going to be our previous day highs. You can mark this out, 249, and then 252. So coming into today here for IWM, the small cap ETF, key level is 249 for a continuation higher. Another possible scenario, kind of dip all the way back down and towards that 246. Still be bullish for this continuation higher here as well. So we have a couple scenarios for the IWM. Let me go on to some more tickers here as well. Someone's mentioning Oracle. Oracle has just been beaten down. So ever since we had this major earnings, pretty big sell-off. And now you're seeing some buyers kind of step in off this previous pivot high, which is a very key level of support. But every single pop has just been shorted. Whenever the tape's this bearish, it's just very hard to long, especially now since the markets are bouncing. This one's really not doing too much. It's going to take a while for this one to reverse. So for Oracle specifically, key levels, 210. It's going to have to get above 210 at a minimum for a continuation higher. Now it's going to have to get right above your previous day highs. So really you just like to see it come back down towards that 196 and start kind of basing and potentially reverse back towards the upside. Let me go on Hood. So a couple of these names, Hood bouncing nicely here along with SoFi. A lot of these high beta names are in a really good spot just because the overall markets are bouncing. But for Hood, if you look at this on the weekly time frame, you look at any of these names, these, in my opinion, are shaping up for a really solid push higher, right? Specifically for the Qs as well. With this pullback, we had some bearish news, or we didn't even have a bearish news catalyst, right? We kind of pushed lower, but the overall markets are bouncing. I do expect now, right, this to be the bottom, and we rally up in towards, right, all-time highs for that Christmas rally as well. So as for something like Hood, I'm going to have to mark out brand new key levels on this one. But for this one, key levels that we do have marked out, really 123 along with this 132. These are the key levels that we're going to have marked out on this ticker. We can also have marked out your previous day high. So really maintain above that previous day highs for a push up in towards that 132. Or now it's going to be above your 132. Yes, let's go on to a few other ones here. Coin, this one's been beaten down quite a bit with Bitcoin. You can see Bitcoin's bouncing just a little bit here now. Coin bouncing off your key level support. So what I personally like to see now is really this trade back up in towards the area we broke down from, which is your 284. Other levels we have marked out is going to be your 268. So multiple touches here. We have levels towards the upside. What we like to see is really now maintain above that 268 for this push higher. This is what we have here for coin coming into today. Let's go back onto the futures now since they are open. Okay, the futures are now open here as well. Open back up at 8:30. Let me just mark out my key levels coming into today. And now I'm going to get ready for market open. So previous day highs, key for the ES. For the NQ, similar thing. You can see Qs is kind of coming back down in towards its previous day highs now as well. So for the Qs, key levels that we're going to have marked out, we actually have two key levels. So we have the last week's highs, which is fairly important, and now we're just going to mark out our previous day highs. So coming into today here for the QQQ, along with the NQ, right, keep an eye out on your previous day highs, along with this high right here as well, which is your last week's highs. So if you want to see upside today, the break above your previous day highs hold for continuation higher. Another possible long, as I mentioned, is going to be the hold above your 25,300 for continuation higher. For the Qs, similar thesis here. Key level is just going to be your 616. It could potentially come back down and towards that 614. So previous day highs hold for continuation, or now it's going to be that dip back down in towards that 613 for that push back towards the upside here as well. So the two scenarios that we have for the Qs and the NQ, SPY, keep an eye out on your previous day highs. ES, similar thing here as well. Those are going to be the key levels coming into market open. As for my main watches coming into today, Tesla, keep an eye out on that, really that 428 key level, one of my main watches today. AMD, keep an eye out on 215 previous day highs. Google and NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I'm going to be a little bit more cautious on. Google, we can keep an eye out on here as well. Kind of flagging on the hourly time frame, so keep an eye out on this one. Kind of forming this flag formation. Keep an eye on this one for potential continuation higher. As for a few other tickers, I like Apple kind of basing above the 277. And the Meta, key level that I'm going to have marked out, previous day highs, 638. So those are going to be the key watches coming into today. You can also keep an eye out on Palantir and AVGO. As I mentioned today, it's really a short day, right? Markets are closed early at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if there's really nothing within the first, I'd say at least today, 15 to 30 minutes, no kind of opening drive plays, right? Just be more cautious. You don't really want to be on any 5-minute setups today. Markets, if anything, we're either going to consolidate or have a slow grind back towards the upside. So those are the two scenarios, at least for today. It doesn't seem like too many people are trading here as well. Not that many people showed up for the pre-market prep, which was expected with it being a half day. And yeah, that's about it. I'm going to get ready for market open here. Let's see what time or Sunday you're gonna be live. I'll have a time tonight, so I'll make a time. Just keep updated on the YouTube post or even Twitter or Instagram. I'll keep you guys updated. I also have a YouTube video coming out on Sunday, and that is about it. Is there option for the yearly? It just depends where you live. I think it's if you are in America, there's some options. If you're somewhere else, I don't think there are. But yeah, that is going to be it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving. Right, still technically holiday season as well. So, right. Hope you guys enjoy your holidays. And with that being said, I will see you guys all on Sunday. And yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend and take care, everyone. Peace.